2024 there has been multiple clubs come out from every single brand, but for me there is one brand that's making waves in a department that you normally don't expect, and that is the wood market. But not only just in that wood market, they've also improved in this area right here. And we are talking about PXG here today, and we're talking about a driving iron that they have improved on this year again. Obviously a club that's not in everybody's bag, and this is what we want to talk about today. Who is a driving iron designed for? And for me, it could still be for a lot of golfers. It's not limited straight down to those single figure golfers who want something that's going to run about 250 yards, nice and low, so if it's breezy. Again, if you're somebody who struggles with a high ball flight and you maybe have got hybrids, 7 woods, 4 woods, 5 woods, everything in your golf bag, this could still be an option, but it's all about what kind of shaft you put in there. If we put you something that's a little bit lighter, something that's going to give you the right launch conditions, then maybe this could be the club for you. Maybe this could get you obviously still getting that ball flight down, or you might be just somebody who hits it too high because you've got two lighter shafts. Obviously you might have a stiff shaft instead of an extra stiff shaft. If we get the right setup in this club, this could be a club for everybody. But like I mentioned, it's not just these clubs that have really impressed me this year. That's not just the only club that's really impressed me and helped me play some better golf here at Waterfront. Just like that. A nice penetrating ball flight, fading just around the corner, and that should be in position A. But it's all about thinking when you need this club. Is it the right golf club for your golf course, or is it totally the wrong option? That's what you have to think about when you're going for a fitting, guys, for one of these kinds of clubs. Obviously you need to think, does it suit your golf course? Are you buying it for one shot, or are you buying it for one trip? It's a great option to have, but let's talk about the price. And as we know, guys, with PXG, they do have the stigma still around them, obviously, with being a very expensive brand. And obviously the drivers that they've brought out this year, especially the Black Ops driver, the Tourhead, is probably the most expensive driver on the range, but it's not excessively more than your Callaways, your TaylorMades, your Titleist and your Pings. Ping again right up there with the same kind of price. But obviously this driving iron is coming in at $189.99, as you can see on the website, and obviously that's pretty much bang in the middle. Obviously we know that your Titleist, utility irons and other brands irons can reach up to £250, so right in the middle here, because there is cheaper options, which is what we're going to test it against on the next hole and start to see, right, is it worth going right in the middle of the pack? Are we going to get the right numbers? And then we're also going to be jumping in the studio and testing exactly how far we can get this to go. Again, what are the benefits of this club? You've got to think that we are going to get exactly what it says on the tin with a driving iron. We know it's going to be low launching, low spin, soft feelings. We know that we've got that forged head, so obviously thinking about there's a lot of things, but it's screaming low ball flight. So yes, I said you can get this to go high, but it all depends if you've got the right setup. Have you got the right shaft in there for it to perform? And if you've got a high ball flight anyway, it's probably something that you want. And you can see even in the wet conditions today, we've got some run out from that 2-iron, which is, it's a good time to obviously test this because the courses are drying out a little bit here in the UK finally. Hopefully the weather is gone, but I know it's probably not. But that's a good time to see, right, are you getting that extra distance? Does it still fit a couple of holes at your golf course? Or do you have it for when you maybe go and play away? You might have a lot of trips to links golf. This is going to be perfect for if I go and play links golf, especially if I go and play at Southern S, where Dave wants us to pop to from Yorkshire. Pop is being 4-hour drive away. But obviously it's all about thinking about where it's good, and obviously here straight away it's got me in a fantastic position here to hit the green. Obviously we're in position A. Can I take advantage of that and start to lower my scores by having this club in my bag? And this is a tough par 4 here. Obviously the 7th hole here at Waterfront is a dog leg, and obviously you can see by the flyover, if we do hit it too well, we could potentially run out and go into the ditch on the other side of the fairway. So for me, a 2-iron or a hybrid potentially is the perfect club to get you into this position. And another fantastic option that PXG have had out is the hybrids. Again, I did test the hybrids inside, really enjoyed them, but obviously when I got out on the golf course, maybe didn't do as well as me having a long iron, not something like a 2-iron. I'm a little bit more preferred to the look of an iron behind the golf ball. Again, the fairway woods, the Black Ops fairway woods were pretty much exceptional. Normally what you expect from PXG is the woods to be expensive and, to be honest, just not be that great. But that's allowed me there from that 2-iron just have a nice easy shot into the green, and that looks pretty close. But like I said there, obviously comment below, obviously, what have you thought of previous PXG drivers? I know Dave loves his driver from last year. Obviously that has been great. I have tested that. Obviously last year's model was pretty good. Obviously numbers wise still didn't stack up against the other premium brands, but this year I think it potentially could be the best driver on the market. I have yet to test it on the channel, and I've yet to test the more forgiving driver with Dave. Obviously, it'll be very interesting to see what he thinks and how it compares to the last generation, but certainly massive strides from PXG in the wood market. And again, here with this driving iron, a fantastic option, and depending on what ball fight you've got, it could be something that goes into your bag. But think about what setup you've got, because it's that time of the year where you need to be thinking, right, do I need a hybrid? Do I need a driving iron? What kind of golf am I going to be playing this year? And what is the top makeup of my bag? Have I got a 5-wood, 3-wood driver, or do I drop the 3-wood because I don't really use it? That's a big question for most mid-handicap golfers to ask yourself. Ask yourself, do you use your 3-wood? Is it beneficial? Are you confident with it? Or could we get something else in your golf bag that gives you more options to lower your scores this year? So let's jump in the studio now. Let's see how far this driving iron is actually going to go out here, potentially on the golf course in the summer. Is it going to fit a nice gap in my golf bag, or is it going to be going too far and it's not going to be as consistent as other clubs that I already have in there? And then let's jump back out here on the golf course, see if I can make a birdie. So let's see how far this is going to go now inside. Obviously numbers wise, we want to know exactly what kind of gap this is going to fill. Is it going to be similar to something I've already got in the bag? 5-wood, for example, is going around about 135 carry, going 145. Is this going to be closer to that window? Is it something that I then use, obviously, when I go and play something like links golf? Hit that very well, left it a little bit open there. Carry wise, 214 running to 235. So interestingly enough, this is a 2-iron, like I've mentioned outside, is it doesn't look like a 2-iron. And what I mean by that is, obviously, we've got that longer blade length. PXG do claim to have the fastest face in golf, so we know. We've also got a lot of surface area, so they're trying to tick boxes there. Obviously, they're wanting the fastest face in golf, but they've got a longer blade length and a bigger face to actually let you buy this club and have a little bit of confidence. So as long as you're being fitted correctly for this, it could be fantastic. That was hit pretty good. Again, 213 running out to 230. So right there, that's very similar to my 7-wood, I would say. So 7-wood's going to come in a lot higher. Yes, maybe I can't manipulate it. Ball fight's similar, but two not fantastic strikes. Not out of the middle, but is that a 2-iron? Is that something that obviously is very elusive? Now that felt pretty solid. That was the best strike so far. 222 going 240. So straight away there with a better strike out of the middle. That's very close to what I expected. Probably 10 yards short to carry, but getting to around about exactly the same distance as that 5-wood. And interesting there, because that was mishit, and you can see by the ball flight there, a fade, pretty high, spun up a little bit on us there, well over 3,000 spin, but still got out there to 230 yards. So forgiveness-wise, obviously, with it being that bigger face, with it being more perimeter weighted, that's still not losing too much. Obviously there, if that's a bad shot, maybe that's a little bit better than the off-centered hit one with a 5-wood. Let's go again. Again, that one was pretty well struck. 220 running to 240. So very interesting there, guys. Obviously, even the mis-centered hits there were doing pretty well. Yes, they might have dropped back a club, but it certainly felt pretty forgiving there, and obviously that's for a 2-iron. For me there, it's all about getting the right setup. The ones that I struck well did get out to that 240 number, which will put it right in the realm of my 5-wood, which then, is this probably going to perform better at links golf? It's certainly a fantastic option to have, and again, for £189, bang smack in the middle of the price range for these kinds of clubs. But let's test it now against something that's costing around about £70 cheaper. Let's see how it performs. Obviously, should you go mid-range, should you go low price, should you go cheaper, or should you go for something a little bit more expensive? For me so far, this PXG 0317 X2 iron is pretty good. So as we come up here, we can see that early in the morning, still got the dew on the ground, but on a relatively difficult par 4, that's made it quite easy so far. Right, can we make the elusive birdie? The answer is yes. But guys, now let's test it against a more budget driving iron, because is it worth the price? Obviously it's bang in the middle, which I think is great value, but obviously how does it compare to something a little bit cheaper? It's all about your budget. So guys, we're going to be putting it against the Tacoma 101U iron, something that I've had in my bike for a couple of months now. Obviously it's been working pretty well, but interesting enough here straight away, obviously this has come with a graphite shaft. We do have a steel shaft in the PXG, but this working out around about £119. So like I say there, straight away we're looking at £70 cheaper to get this club. It's all down to performance. At the end of the day, it's all about obviously what you can do. Looks behind, again, this does look a little bit bigger, but is that what you're paying for? Obviously saving £70, maybe it doesn't look as sleek as something like the PXG, which we know obviously has had a lot of time and effort put into that process. But like we mentioned there, you could nearly get 2 of these for not much more than getting 1 PXG. So if you want a 3 and a 4 iron, if you're going to splash that little bit more money, you could actually get 2 of these for the price of, let's say, a Titleist 505U. They're around about £250, so coming in very similar for 2 of these, but it's all about the numbers, and really we want to see 2 good strikes here and then get down there. I have to say again, that felt fantastic, exactly what I've expected from using this club for a while now. Made the birds fly away, and great interaction with the turf. And a slightly thicker sole there on that Tacoma, so again interaction with the turf a little bit easier. Is that going to be better for a high handicapper golfer? Again, maybe a little bit more versatile, or maybe aimed a little bit towards a higher handicapper, just like the 101 tees and the 101 irons from Tacoma. Straight away here looks a bit sleeker, obviously not as much offset there. Let's see. And a more penetrating ball flight. Certainly looks like it states inside to have that fastest facing golf. It looks like it comes off really hot. You do look like you've got a lot of space down there. It's not obviously a 2 iron that you sit behind and go, ooh, it looks like it's going to be really hard to hit. Plenty of surface area, and again a reasonable thickness soles, and we're still getting good interaction with the turf. So certainly it's something not for you to overlook. Obviously this year I think it's going to be a massive year for PXG. I really think that the woods have improved massively, and from there they're going to start to catch up with the premium brands, obviously the other premium brands I should say, starting to get a longer driver, start to get one that's feeling better, looking better. It'll be very interesting to test it to last year's model with mid-handicap Dave. Guys, have you tested out the PXGs? Is that something you're going to look for? They have opened a brand new fitting centre just outside of London, which I was lucky enough to go to a couple of weeks ago, and if you're wanting to get fitted, I would highly recommend going there. All the premium shafts, a great setup, and they might even build your clubs whilst you're there. So guys, hope you've enjoyed that. Comment below, are you a PXG person or do you stay clear? If you're enjoying the content guys, please do consider hitting that subscribe button below, and I'll see you again tomorrow. But before we go guys, obviously straight away down here we can see there's around about a 20-yard difference. The Tacoma certainly did spin up a little bit more, so a good interaction with the turf. Felt like I hit it solid, but a little bit more spin. But we know the PXG is stating that obviously a low spin rate, low launch and fast ball speed, and that's exactly what we got.